and welcome to our first video log. This is kind of the road to junior nationals vlog. I'm Emily Duncan. I'm guessing if you're here that you found me through some sort of social media, whether it's Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. So what we're kind of here doing today is I've had a lot of success with social media so far in that I've been able to reach a lot of people, make a lot of great connections. But I also receive a lot of questions on a daily basis, just involving different things, whether it's how I train, how I diet, just about competing in general. So I kind of wanted to put another resource out there and talk instead of just trying to fit everything into a 3-page long Instagram caption, which I don't know if people actually read anyway or if they just double tap and keep going or whatever. So with that being said, I guess we'll introduce ourselves a little bit. But hi. My name's Emily. I'm 19 and I'm from Ohio. I'm a nationally qualified NPC bikini competitor. I've done 5 shows so far. I'm a sophomore in college. I'm a biology with a focus in applied physiology major. That's kind of my university's fancy way of saying exercise science. I'm a flexible dieter. I'm kind of a self-proclaimed ice cream and donut lover. I am competing, like I said before, at the 2015 NPC Junior Nationals in Chicago. I'm very excited about that. I am Team Body by Heidi and also Team here, Next Level. I'm sponsored by some really great companies. I feel really honored to not only represent but be supported by companies that I support as well. Koyos Mental Titan, you guys are awesome. And Donuts and Deadlifts, you guys are awesome number 2. So let's move on to Heidi. Heidi Waselik, she is one of my coaches. She's wonderful. She couldn't be here with us today because, like I said, even though she's from Ohio, she doesn't live here. So the only way she gets to be in one is if she comes to visit. Heidi. But anyway, so Heidi graduated from Kent State University with her bachelor's in kinesiology. She's the owner of Body by Heidi LLC, which is also a flexible dieter and a nationally qualified NPC bikini competitor. On top of that, she's a fitness specialist, a personal trainer, a group exercise instructor, and she also works full-time with older adults. She does a lot of work with Parkinson's and dementia. She has a certification in the Delayed Disease Program, which is the program designed for Parkinson's, which is lots, Heidi. So that's Heidi. I've been working with her since I started my bikini journey. She's been my prep coach through every show that I've done, and I can't imagine going into a show without her. And next up is Eric Van Mater. I first started working with Eric by literally working with him here as my job. One of the big things that I noticed with Eric, well, first of all, was his educational background, which I'll let him talk about that a little bit later. I don't want to steal that thunder from him. But I've always been a big proponent of coaches with educational background. Just watching him in here with our athletes, we work with a lot of football players, basketball players, track athletes. All of those athletes, they want to get stronger and they want to get faster. So I was like, I kind of want to do that too, not just be aesthetic, but athletic as well. And even just starting my off-season after my second show, him just saying, oh, try this to progress your strength in your squat, oh, try this. Not even doing my programming, but just little things that he would recommend to me that would significantly help. So I'm keeping him around. He's programmed my entire off-season, and I've had a really successful off-season, both in terms of building strength and muscle. So yeah, I decided to keep him on board, and I guess I'll let you talk about yourself now. Talking about you.
So like you said, my name's Eric Van Mater. I am a strength conditioning coach or head performance trainer here at the Next Level Speed and Strength in Beaver Creek, Ohio. I have a master's degree in sport performance from Ball State University. While I was there, I actually worked as the head strength conditioning coach for men's golf and women's gymnastics. But I also helped with basically every other team there. Where it needed to be from, the head strength conditioning coach or assistant coach needed me, whatnot. Before that, I actually was a volunteer assistant baseball coach at Ball State University. I did that for about a year because I played college baseball, both at Purdue and Ball State University. I went to Purdue out of high school, played a few years there, finished my playing time at Ball State. Still trying to play for a few years. While trying to play, I actually went and interned at a facility very similar to kind of what you see in the background here, a speed and sports performance facility called Cooper Speed and Strength down in Tampa. We worked with athletes as young as 6 years old up through Major League Baseball players and NFL football players. From there's a guy I worked with who was still trying to compete in the Olympics at the time in track. I learned a lot from a very, very intelligent guy, Cody Shovitz, out of Florida. I learned a ton from him, and so I still apply a lot of my training, especially with her conditioning as we progress. Is a lot of things I took from him. Being out on the track with him daily. But like I said, I have a master's degree in sports performance. After getting done playing baseball, I decided to get in the world of Olympic weightlifting. During my sports performance master's degree. Right before that, I was kind of on the edge of competing in potentially bodybuilding, but the head strength coach, Jason Roberson at Ball State, kind of turned me right when I got into grad school, and I've never looked back. It's something that I'm leaner now, and I do absolutely zero running that I've ever been in my life. I'm stronger than I've ever been in my life. I'm almost 30. I eat ice cream and pizza almost every day. I've actually had a pint of Ben & Jerry's for breakfast and a large pizza for lunch. So, I sit around 6-7% body fat probably. So, it's something that things work out very well. But I eat to my energy needs. I follow someone along the lines of flexible dieting as well.
Very flexible.
I'm just very flexible. That's correct. To add to that, I've incorporated a lot of my style. In terms of what I do into Emily's training. Every athlete has specific things that they need to work on, and so we really tailor her program to what she's trying to build and succeed in.
So he started talking a little bit about what we're doing with my programming. So can you give us like the back of the book description, I guess, of what we'll be doing?
Yeah. So our overall goal, we've built a lot of muscle and a lot of strength in the off season. Not only in the Olympic lifts that she started toying in. This offseason, but really her deadlift shot up. Just hit a 275 deadlift a couple weeks ago. Squatting, we've even had some issues with injuries. Squat's still up higher than it's ever been. On top of everything else, upper body strength is significantly through the roof from where it was, before last offseason. So, the goal is to kind of progress it as long as we can and then maintain it as long as we can throughout the prep cycle. We'll still be placing a lot of emphasis on the deadlifts and the squats. A lot of upper body strength and volume. A small amount of Olympic weightlifting still, kind of a little more for conditioning purposes there. We'll be fluctuating a lot of the weekly volume, intensity, so we can still keep her strength up, but not bury her too much. While doing this, I'm slowly starting to teach her to run, to actually learn how to sprint, like a sprinter. The goal of this is teaching her to run fast, is that she can actually utilize her speed and her power that we've developed this off season. When we actually get into more conditioning as prep approaches, and more of the lactate interval-based sprinting that we'll be doing, she's going to be capable of running a lot faster, a lot more efficiently, which should allow her to basically burn more fuel when she sprints. To add to this goal is to be able to do so without cutting as many calories or nutrients as possible. I want to be able to keep macronutrient intake up there and basically just cut her down. Adding in just some volume and some conditioning. We've done very, very little cardio and conditioning all off season. A couple every minute on the minutes of some Olympic work. Of course, she PRs in those, so it's almost not really that much of conditioning. But it also kind of gets her out of her head for those. That's a big part for any athlete. That's just learning the Olympic lifts. So it's a big part for me, and I've been doing it for about 2.5 years. So. But that's really kind of the big goal, is to continue building as long as we can and maintain as much of that strength as possible. As you can see, my dog Ari in the background's over there running around toying with his tennis ball. So, but yeah, the goal is just kind of progressive strength still as long as we can, and then maintain it as long as we can once we get into prep. Because it is very taxing on the body, the nervous system, and the muscles to add in some of that high intensity sprinting that we're going to get into. While you're still trying to squat or deadlift every day. Yeah,
and he brings up trying to keep my nutrients as high as possible for as long as possible. Anybody that's been through prep, I can almost guarantee that the majority of anyone that's been through prep would say the dieting is one of the hardest parts. The longer I can sit and eat Ben & Jerry's, you all know, the happier I'm gonna be. But just a little bit more about why we wanted to do this and why I wanted to do this. I figure, Junior Nats is a large show. Anybody that knows anything about the NPC circuit, you know that Junior Nats is a very large national show. So like I said, I figured what better time to track what I'm doing and to share with people what I'm doing than going into a huge show. I feel like science-based training and dieting in the bodybuilding perspective, not just through athletic development, but in the bodybuilding world, I feel like that's on the rise. You know, we make this joke, like the Hunger Games joke, like, oh, the districts are rising, whatever. I mean, I feel like it's legitimate. There is kind of like the old way or the bro way, which there's good things to take from that as well, but there's also this new way that's a little bit more science-based, focuses a little bit more on health, on optimizing, you know, train smarter, not necessarily harder. Like you look at people, you know, like Lane Norton has made really great strides in bringing science to the forefront of dieting. You look at competitors like Lauren Conlon, a flexible dieter and exercise research scientist that just won her pro card at Nationals in Miami, or you know, even people like Chrissy behind Donuts and Deadlifts. You see these people making it in like teams, like the strength guys, or like what we do here. Like you see these people making these strides and showing that it's possible to live a flexible lifestyle and truly make it a lifestyle, not a restriction. And also encouraging females and female competitors that, you know, training heavy lifts and training them regularly isn't going to be detrimental to your physique. It's actually going to help you. Yes, I am young. I am very young for a competitor. I'm 19. Every show that I've gone to, the girls that I go on stage with are like, oh my gosh, you're so young, you're a baby. And I'm like, yeah, I know I am, but at the same time, I want to use that to set an example for not only future competitors, but for young girls alike that, you know, there is a healthy way to do this. I want to change the game a little bit. So with that being said, I am beyond excited going into this prep with Heidi, with Eric, and with my opposing coach, Monty Mabry. I feel like it's going to be a really great prep season. It's going to be hard, but I'm really excited to see the final outcome. And use this as also my, not just a source of information, but like my personal virtual scrapbook of like, you know, what's going on and how I progress. I also want to be a resource, like I said, so with that, I kind of want to open up the floor to questions for you guys. Like I said, I get a lot of questions, you know, pretty much daily through my email and through my Instagram and Twitter and all that stuff. I know I have personal ideas for vlogs, but if you guys have any questions, whether it be questions for Eric on programming or, oh, there's already.
Everything that I do has a purpose, so anything that I'll do in any of my programs, you know, it may take me a minute to get your responses because I'm just work and whatnot around here, but hey buddy, hey buddy, but you know, everything I do I have a reasoning behind. You know, a lot of that I developed for my master's degree just because, you know, to add to what she was saying on top of people making strides in science background, you know, I'm a big fan of Lane Norton. There's a lot of things I actually have some similarities in that I did a lot of the bro mistakes back in the day, or your quote-unquote bro mistakes. You know, I used the fact that I feel like I don't know everything because I have learned so much. There's that much more out there, you know, but it's just interesting because I did make a lot of those things that people do these days that don't have to be done. You know, I found that I can still live a normal life and eat pizza and ice cream all the time if I want and still stay lean and still, you know, work towards my goals. And so my goal is to kind of implement that as well as I can with Emily's program as we go through prep.
Right, so like if you guys ever have questions about like his programming, if you have like flexible dieting questions, how to do it, if you have any questions just on competing in general, like things you should know before you compete, there's actually a lot you need to know before you compete. Don't just jump into it, please, for the love of God. If you have like hair, makeup, suit, jewelry questions, you know, anything else, if you need ice cream recommendations, you all know that it's like my bucket list to try every pint of Ben & Jerry's in production, and I have a box in my room with all the pints in them, so like I've got your back on that. But yeah, like, or him, he's got an extensive ice cream background as well. But yeah, if you have any questions, please just shoot me an email. I'll include my email on my channel in the more section on this video. I will say it right now. It's Dunc, dunc.mem11@gmail.com. But yeah, thank you so much for all the support that you guys have given me so far. I say it time and time again. I never thought I'd be that person to say it, but like I have so many internet friends now, and it's super crazy. You guys know me, I'm like the big ball of feelings person. There are literally like 14,000 people, give or take a few, that support me in what I do, have reached out to me and say you look up to me and you look to me for a source of inspiration and like getting into the competitive world. And so like I want to give some of that back. So you give me a lot of love and I want to give some of that back. So Like I said, any questions, just shoot me an email. Try not to send me DMs on Twitter or Instagram. Sometimes that stuff just gets pushed to the bottom. So yeah, email is gonna be the best way to reach me. But yeah, this is our first video log, and I'm really excited about this competition season. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.